We have covered the first volume of Otto Julius Bierbaum's Sonderwahre Geschichten in episode 243. Today we will cover volume 2. Something to note, the subtitle of this volume is And Other French Stories, but all but one story takes place in the Netherlands. In Stoneware, Cyprien Barbare goes to a notary and finds out his distant uncle, whom he had never seen, had left him some property in Holland. This uncle did not support his sister's marriage, but did send Cyprien some money, and demanded to be sent his photo on a regular basis to make sure he was not growing up to resemble his father. His inheritance comes with a demand to go to his uncle's room at a specific time, dress in a specific way, and smoke a particular brand of tobacco in one of his uncle's human-headed pipes. He arrives at the house and there seems to be a strange presence, and he even starts hearing his uncle's voice, and then a bunch of other voices. His uncle's china and porcelain dolls and mugs all start talking to him. As it turns out, his uncle based his collection on turning people into porcelain objects when he got bored with them. At the end, his uncle's friend, the antiquarian Van Spetekerke, takes him to his house and uses a spiritist table to get in contact with his uncle's spirit, while making Barbale marry his daughter, after he had spent about 20 seconds in the same room with her. This one is a bit less good than the two stories of Volume 1, but still not bad. But then, we have the unnecessary sequel. The Hobby Horse Pastor of the Golden Age is a story I am almost certain Bierbaum started writing without any idea where it was going, while trying to stretch out the writing as far as possible, hoping to get some idea eventually. He didn't. The story is about Barbale and his father-in-law Van Spetekerke being invited to the nearby village of Molendaal by Spetekerke's friendly Pastor Krumkerkel, saying he had rediscovered the Golden Age. This turns out to be basically to allow the people time to do things they have no talent for, such as making impossibly tall boots no one can put on. And then at the end we find out the pastor can materialize two different women as emanations of his own mind? One is Amphora, who can produce wine out of nowhere, and the other is the no-fun theology. There isn't much point or direction here, but only if it were this simple. For you see, this goes on for 100 pages. About 10 pages are spent with Barbale reading the newspaper, and Spetekerke watching him, describing his every movement in detail. There is a pointless argument about how long it takes to get newspapers delivered to the village. When asking where they will stay in Molendaal, the pastor says that is the question 13 times in a row, and much time is spent with Van Spetekerke and Krumkerkel sitting around smoking cigars while doing nothing. The only somewhat funny diversion here is Van Spetekerke going on about his systematic forgery of antiquities. The voice of the blood is the best of the whole volume. Walburga, a 16-year-old countess, lives alone in a ruined empty castle, with only her old nurse Bertrand, who makes up stories to make sure Walburga never goes outside. This is all due to a prophecy that Walburga's mother Habane had made one night before she went out to die in the snow, that when Walburga shall ask her about the knight with the black eyes, she will leave and Bertrand will age 100 years in a day and die. As Walburga is 16, she suddenly asks about the knight with the black eyes, and Bertrand sees the Grim Reaper himself come into the room, and wait mockingly as she tells the story. 16 years before, as Walburga's mother was to be married, a Spanish knight attending the feast murdered Walburga's grandfather and stole her mother away. She then came back, gave birth to a daughter, and died 5 years later. Then Walburga goes out for the first time in her life, with the old nurse at her side, death following them and casually murdering people along the way for amusement.